The last caller started with a missed call. Daniel Harper had just moved into his new apartment in Cedar Falls, Iowa. Quiet town, cheap rent. Exactly what he needed after everything that happened in Chicago. He wasn't looking for excitement, just silence. But silence doesn't last long. At 2:17 a.m., his phone buzzed. Unknown number. He ignored it. A minute later, it buzzed again. Same number. Annoyed, Daniel picked up. Hello? Nothing. Just a faint breathing. Slow. Uneven. Hello? Who is this? The breathing stopped. Then, a whisper. Daniel. His stomach dropped. Who is this? Click. The call ended. Daniel sat there, staring at his phone. His heart was racing, but he tried to convince himself it was just a prank. Maybe a wrong number. Maybe someone messing around. Still, how did they know his name? He checked the number. No caller ID. No location. Nothing. The next day, Daniel brushed it off and went to work. He worked night shifts at a small gas station just outside town. Boring job. Long hours. Perfect distraction. But around midnight, the phone rang again. Same unknown number. This time, he let it ring. It stopped, then started again. Reluctantly, he answered. Look, whoever this is, stop calling me. Silence. Then the whisper returned. You shouldn't have come back. Daniel froze. What did you say? A low chuckle crackled through the line. We missed you. Click. Now he was scared. He hadn't told anyone he moved here. No friends. No family nearby. And definitely no one who would say something like that. That night, he couldn't sleep. Every little noise felt louder. The ticking clock. The hum of the fridge. The faint creak of the floorboards. At exactly 2:17 a.m., buzz. The phone lit up. Unknown number. Daniel stared at it for a long time. Then answered. What do you want? Silence. Then, a different voice. Not a whisper this time. Clear. Cold. Look outside. Daniel's hands trembled as he slowly turned his head toward the window. The street was empty. Streetlight flickering. Nothing unusual. Until he noticed something. Across the road, near the mailbox, a figure, standing still, watching. Daniel's breath caught in his throat. The figure didn't move, didn't blink, just stood there. Then his phone crackled again. He sees you. The figure slowly raised its arm and pointed directly at him. Daniel dropped the phone. His heart pounded as he stumbled back. No, 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 no. He rushed to the window again. The figure was gone. Just empty street. Nothing there. He didn't sleep that night. Or the next. Or the next. The calls kept coming. Always at 2:17 a.m. Always from the same unknown number. Sometimes it whispered his name. Sometimes it laughed. Sometimes it just breathed. A week later, Daniel decided to go to the police. This is serious, he told the officer. Someone is stalking me. The officer looked unconvinced. Do you have any proof? Messages? Voicemails? Daniel shook his head. They never leave anything. Just calls. The officer sighed. We'll keep an eye out. But it sounds like a prank. A prank, right? That night, Daniel decided to end it. When the phone rang at 2:17 a.m., he answered immediately. I know you're there. What do you want from me? Silence. Then, come find us. What? Basement. The call ended. Daniel stood there, confused. Basement? His apartment didn't have a basement, or did it? He remembered something the landlord mentioned briefly when he moved in. Old building. Storage area downstairs. Not really used anymore. Against his better judgment, Daniel grabbed a flashlight and went downstairs. The basement door was at the end of a dark hallway. Locked, or at least, it should have been. But tonight, it was slightly open. Daniel pushed it. Free. The smell hit him first. Damp. Rotting. Something foul. He stepped inside. The flashlight flickered as it scanned the room. Old furniture. Broken boxes. Dust everywhere. And then, he saw it. A phone. Sitting on a small wooden table. Ringing. Daniel's heart nearly stopped. It was the same ringtone, the same unknown call, but his phone was in his pocket. Still, he slowly walked toward the table. The phone kept ringing. He picked it up. The screen read, "Incoming call, Daniel Harper." His blood ran cold. With shaking hands, he answered. "Hello?" The voice came instantly, but this time, it wasn't coming from the phone. It was behind him. "You finally came." Daniel turned slowly, and what he saw was himself, standing in the shadows, smiling, but not right, not human. His face was twisted, stretched wrong, eyes too wide, smile too big. "We've been waiting." Daniel stumbled back. "What are you?" The thing tilted its head. "You left us here." "No, I didn't." "You died here, Daniel." The room spun. "What are you talking about?" The thing stepped closer. "Don't you remember?" And suddenly, he did. The accident. The night he thought he survived. The crash. The fire. The pain. This apartment. This town. He never left. He never survived. Daniel screamed, "No! This isn't real." But the thing just smiled wider. "This is where you've always been." The lights flickered. The basement darkened. The smell grew stronger. Burning. Smoke. Death. Daniel dropped the phone, but it kept ringing, over and over, echoing through the room. Then, everything went black. The next morning, the landlord unlocked the basement for the first time in years. Police stood behind him. "What exactly did you say happened here?" one officer asked. The landlord hesitated. "Old tenant. Name was Daniel Harper." "What about him?" The landlord swallowed. "He died in a fire 3 years ago." The officer looked around. The basement was empty, dust undisturbed, no signs of anyone, except a phone, sitting on a table, ringing. The officer frowned. "Who's calling?" The landlord stepped closer, looked at the screen, and went pale. "Incoming call, Daniel Harper." The phone stopped ringing, and from somewhere deep in the basement, a whisper echoed, "Hello?" The end.